everyone and welcome to the Pottery Corner, my studio near Chichester on the south coast of England. We're here with another kiln opening video. We have had rather a lot of those recently, as I'm sure you know. We're still working our way through the shelves of glazing, so I'm basically packing the kiln, firing the kiln, doing a video and then repacking the kiln, so we've got a little bit more to do. So we'll get on with it without further ado. So kiln open, it's down to 41 degrees centigrade, so we're fine to open it. I'm only really wearing my gloves for protection, it's not very hot. So first of all, in the last video we had these mugs which had pinholes in them, so I reapplied some seaweed, Amaco seaweed round where the pinholes were, and I've refired them, and actually the pinholes have gone, which is marvellous, and the dripping is much better actually on this one than it was the first time round. So it's always worth refiring your work. If you have a piece that comes out of the kiln and you think, no, I don't really like that, it's always worth adding some glaze. I love this combination, it's really good. The only reason I refired them was because of the pinholes. So yes, reapplying glaze to already fired work. Some people heat their pots before they reapply the glaze. I just use hairspray because it then makes the surface have something to adhere to, and of course the hairspray burns off, so there's no problem there. But it does take a long time for the reapplied glaze to dry because of course the work is no longer porous. So it's a really good idea, but when you put your glaze on, put it on, leave it on and let it dry before you put it back in the kiln. So that's a goodie, marvellous. This is the second of those. They all had pinholes in them, all on the seaweed section, and again this one has come out lovely too. In fact, as I say, interestingly, I think that the flow of the dripping is actually much better than it was first time round. And again, good shape. This one's just caught the kiln shelf on the edge here. So I have a grinder, diamond grinder, so I'll just grind that little edge off and that will be fine. Next thing, more marbled mugs. These are sepia and honey and burnt orange. And these have got Amaco Potter's Choice Adventurine handles. The Adventurine I had forgotten is a particularly drippy glaze. Good job I only put 2 coats on. And as you can see, it's just run, and take that glove off because I don't need that one. It's just run over the end of the pot onto the cookies. So that's why I use these little bisque cookies to protect my kiln shelves, because they're very expensive. Nice marbling on there and nice inside. The ombre again is nice inside there. So that's a goodie. There's another one of those. That one hasn't actually run down, so clearly didn't have quite as much glaze, although it has run on the inside of the handle, but that looks quite nice, so I'm not bothered about that. And again, nice mug, lovely colour, very usable, feels good in the hand and all that. Right, next thing. This is a sweet one of my platters. This is the small size, which has a beehive textured roller which I've used, and then I glazed the bees which are slightly raised, and the slightly raised honeycomb, and then I've just used a manganese wash on the texture just in a couple of places because I didn't want it all to be this colour, and actually it's come out really nicely. And then just a clear glaze over the top, so I'm using Earthstone original, no I'm not, I'm using Earthstone Smooth Textured for hand building. So it's a nice white clay body, and that's just got the prop shards on, which I can just file off really easily. So that's a sweetie. Next thing on this shelf, kiln props like to disintegrate sometimes, so get rid of that. This one that's Amaco Smoke on there, and this has got a little bit of Nerikomi on it, and also you'll see, I don't know if you can see that I've used the black clay rather than the clay with black stain in. and it doesn't hold the glaze. So there's like these little matte sections. Well, they're not quite matte sections, but actually I quite like that. That's come out quite well, and again it has a cookie on it which I can just knock off. It just saves the kiln shelves. So yeah, rather nice, and a nice design. Those of you who watch YouTube pottery videos will know that this is Bill Van Gilder idea of using a slump mould to make your platters. So they look nice in a set. I'm just going to lift the kiln shelf out. Now in the bottom of here I have some of my students' work, and right, let's have a little look and see what we've got. There are some more mugs in here, so I'll do those first. Keep that glove on, I think. So this is the, ooh, that's interesting. Right, I might try and pull that out without the shelf. The last of the Adventurine, and again you can see that glaze has stripped down off of there. Again, lovely marbling on that mug again, and a nice combination. So those are really successful. I'm really pleased with those. Right, let's see if I can get out the props. Actually, I am going to use my glove because they're not hot, but they're warm. Let's get those out of the way. Quick chop, because we know what happens, don't we? Don't have to tell you every time what happens to props like that. You pick up two props joined together, and one of them drops down and hits something in the kiln, which is not funny. So anyway, there we are. Let's pop that up there out the way. Right, now this is, oh, it's not stuck. Again, this is the last of the refired. Lovely. And again, interestingly, it just caught the kiln shelf. So again, I shall have to do a little bit of grinding, but isn't that a lovely mug? Lovely shape, like that. Very nice. Luckily for me, I just used a little bit of broken shelf to put that on. You can see where that has left its glaze on. So lucky for me, I just used an old bit of broken shelf, so it hasn't made any marks on the actual kiln shelves themselves. Right, last thing. This is the last of the pink mugs. Now these pink mugs have been really successful. Such a beautiful colour. Now that is raspberry, which is the very pink bit, coral and banana yellow. And inside, again, without sort of bringing out the texture of the marbling, the ombre inside is very nice. And this one has a Amaco weeping plum textured lace handle. Sweet, lovely colour, very girly. Lovely, like that a lot, very nice indeed. Now, I'll do my piece before the others. This is one of the Tudor jugs that I've been working on. And the reason that I haven't glazed the two that are up on the shelf is because I wanted to see how this glaze combination came out. And my, it is beautiful. It's Amaco deep fire brick, underneath blue rutile. Isn't that beautiful? Where it's held on the texture, it's really very pretty. Now this is iron fleck clay, so it has the fleck in it from the iron, which makes it look like an oatmeal glaze, but actually that's just transparent over the top of there. I really like that iron fleck clay. It adds something to a piece to have that sort of flecky texture inside, and that is the best one so far. You'll have seen two that came out on the last video, but this one I really like. So I think the other two will probably be, look at the colour on that, isn't that lovely? So I think the other two will probably become that glaze combination. Now, this is Karen's largest monster mushroom, which is, the base is up here, which hasn't yet been in. And now I don't know what the glaze on here is. I think it might be Smoky Merlot, but it looks a bit odd. And there is a prop in there, which I'm just ferreting out. But actually, it's quite woodlandy. So I can see that it is Smoky Merlot, because there's quite a bit of Smoky Merlot showing. but I don't know whether there was something else. I think it was just one glaze, Karen, as I recall. But it's a very nice woodlandy colour. And it will eventually, when that bit is done, sit on the top of there. It's very heavy, but actually it's nice. It will look lovely in the garden, so that's very good. And the last thing in here, Jo, contain your excitement, is Jo's second poppy head from her course. Oh, you've done it again, girl. You've done it again. Look at this. Right, so this is Craft Crank, hand-built, handmade poppy head for the garden. And on the top we have put glass frit. In years gone by, I did a City and Guilds in stained glass, so I have lots of glass frit and bits and pieces left over from that. So I do tend to incorporate glass into pottery. So this, I have to say, Jo, you've done it again. It's absolutely beautiful. She's coming tomorrow. You're going to be so pleased with that. Beautiful, beautiful poppy head. Lovely glass, lovely colour. And the dripping on it, although it's not on every section, is really very, very good. But as you can see, I've put it on a cookie because it has a habit of dripping down, and interestingly that's the only bit that's on that cookie, but if that was on my kiln shelf I wouldn't be a very happy girl, so that's why I make my own bisque cookies just to use in the kiln. So Jo, it's beautiful. You're going to be delighted with it, and I shall look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Other than that, pottery family, there's not much to report. We are having students back one-to-one, and tomorrow I have 2 back in the studio, so we're going to trial it and see how we get on. I think it'll be all right. We've got plenty of space, so we can social distance as we're required to do. But it does obviously cut our class sizes down, so I'm trying to fit everybody in, and the girls are coming back one-to-one initially, and then we're seeing where we're going from there. Have a look at the website, www.thepotterycorner.co.uk. My online shop has items, and I will list the mugs up on there over the next few days if you'd like to take a look, so please have a look at the website. The split front aprons, some of them are on the website, but I haven't listed them all as yet, so if you're interested in one and there's one that you've seen that's not up on the shop, then do message me. My email details are on the website, so do email me if you'd like photographs before I put them up on the shop. Instagram page is the.pottery.corner and Facebook page The Pottery Corner. So hit subscribe, and then you'll be notified when I do some more YouTube videos. I am hoping to do some sort of more tutorial-y type videos as well as the kiln opening, although I find the kiln opening fascinating and I watch everybody else's kiln opening, so I hope that you enjoy just having a look and seeing what comes out and what combinations we've used. So that's it for now, and you know my 6-second trim, can't do it, just can't do it. So I'm going to sign out and say, GoPro, stop video.